Hello friends, this is your host Rakesh Kumar. In the present video we are going to discuss the trend lines. Discussing trend lines is very important aspect of learning the technical analysis. Most of the chart patterns are formed by drawing the lines in a correct manner. Now before learning about the trend lines, it is very important to know what are the supports and resistances. Now if you don't know yet, then never mind, you can go through my previous video named Introduction to Support and Resistance, which was uploaded on this channel yesterday. And just to remind you that if you have not subscribed to our channel, then you can subscribe to it now to get notifications of the latest video uploads. And if you find this video useful for you, then please consider pressing the like button which is there below the video. But before we begin, let us have a look at the risk disclaimer. It states that the futures, stocks and the options trading involve substantial amount of risk. Your capital is at risk, the losses can exceed the investment. The information is provided as is, and the user of the information assumes the entire risk of any use it may make or permit to be made. So let's get started. Okay friends, we have today's topic, which is trend lines. So yesterday we have seen how the support and resistance lines and support and resistance zones work, and support turns into resistance and resistance turns into support, vice versa. Some aspects of the support and resistance can be applied to the trend lines also. But before we apply those aspects to the trend lines, let us see what are the trend lines. So the first question that we are going to answer today is, what is a trend line? Friends, the answer to the question is not very difficult. It is a simple answer. You might have heard from various places already, but here you will learn exactly what a trend line is. Now the technical analysis entirely is built on an assumption that the price may trend, may not trend, and most of the time it goes in one direction only. Now the use of trend line is very important for both the identification of a trend and also for the confirmation of a trend. Now what is this trend line? It is nothing but a straight line that connects two or more points, and then we extend that line into the future, and we expect that it will again act as a support and resistance in the future. Okay, now if you recollect from the past, what was the support? Okay, when the price was going up, you were expecting these zones, these lines, to again act as a support. Now this here acted as a support and resistance turned into each other. Now here it was support, and after break it turned into resistance, resistance. After break it turned it into support. Now you see that these were the support and resistance lines. Now what are the trend lines? As I told, that it is a straight line that connects two or more price points and then extends into the future to act as a line of support and resistance. Now we see that here this area was a support for the price. Do you agree or not? This area was support for the price. Now support is the area from where the price tends to go higher. Now this was again an area of support. From here the price went higher. Now this is another support from where the price went higher. So what if I join these points by drawing two lines? Sorry, by drawing one line. So you see, it has become into a trend line. Now this has become a trend line. We joined 2 points, we confirmed at the third point, and after that you see whenever the price came here, it was rejected by the line to the upside. Okay. Okay, now we know that what is a trend line. So what is an uptrend line? So this was actually an example of an uptrend line only. Now an uptrend line has a positive slope Now what is the meaning of the positive slope? That as the time goes, the slope is to the upside. Now this is called positive slope. Okay, and also we have to say that whenever we are making an uptrend line, the next low should be higher than the previous low. Okay, the next low, in this case the low 2 is this one, this is the first low, so the next low should be higher than the previous low. Okay, and this regard we will be making a uptrend line. Now we can always draw a line, but it will only be validated when it tests third time. We can draw the line by making 2 points. Okay, but if the third point is also there on the line and then get rejected, then only this line is confirmed. Otherwise the line is not confirmed, it is not a valid trend line otherwise. Now what is a downtrend line? Exact opposite of this is a downtrend line. We will see how this one is made. Okay, when we join two highs, now this is this a valid line? Yes, this is a valid, but after the fourth one did not get rejected, so you have to find the other one. Now this is also not a valid trend line, so we will remove it. Then we will check this one. So now is this a valid trend line? Yes, we use these 2 points as the trend line, and this point here, this area in fact here was the confirmation area. Okay, this one and this one. Now there are always false breaks to the upside and the downsides, because in the real market you will never get the ideal situations. In the real market you will always get some variations from the textbook. You see, I have used these 2 points here. This is also considered as a retest. I will tell you why. And these are the trend lines. You see this downtrend line, it behaved in a very good manner and pushed the price much lower than we were expecting. So what is a downtrend line? A downtrend line has a negative slope. That means that it is the next high that is coming is lower than the previous high, and also the downtrend line acts as a resistance, and it also indicates that as the time goes by, the supply is increasing. Okay, the net supply in fact is increasing, I must say. Now this indicates that the sellers are more aggressive as the time is passing. I hope I have made myself clear. Now what is a validation? I already told you that it takes 2 points to draw a line, but a third point should be also there to validate the line. If there are only 2 points, you have to be very cautious at the third test, but if the 3 tests have been valid, you can be more comfortable and more reliable is the trend line at the 4th test of the line. Now what should be the spacing of the points? It is also a very important aspect, that the spacing should be sufficiently large. The spacing should be sufficiently large. Now when I say sufficiently large means you can zoom the chart to almost this level. Okay, so you don't have to draw trend lines using these 2 highs. No, there should be sufficient space depending upon the time frame between the 2 points that you are choosing. I am choosing these 2 points from December high to April high, so that makes a trend line valid. Okay, that makes a trend line valid. But if you start choosing these 2 points which are very close to each other, then it will not be a very good trend line. Okay, I hope I have made myself clear in this one also. So now what are internal trend lines? Friends, there are two methods of drawing the trend lines. I will give you an example of this one only. You see that if I join this high and if I join this high, then you will see that there was a time when the price came here and dropped eventually, but I never get a test of this. So I had to adjust my trend line here when this high was made. Now this was why did I do this? Because I knew that here the resistance or the supply is emerging in this area. Okay, and whenever the price came to this level again, I was sure that this is a zone of supply, so I was ready to push the button to the downside. Now in this case, if I would have kept my point here, then I would have never got this trade here. So the idea is that there are times when there are certain spikes of demand at these resistance levels, so the price tends to go higher. And if you find that the next high is lower than that, you can cut some wicks of the highs and still draw a valid trend line. Okay, you can still draw a valid trend line. Now that is okay if you cut the wicks. Now some people say that the wicks should not be cut. My good friend Miha also says, FX Passion also says that the lines should the wicks should not be cut, but I say that wicks can be cut to certain aspects, to certain level, to give you valid trend lines, because a retest or a test of the line is more important than cutting the wicks. You see, this line is cutting the wicks here, and here, and still is a valid trend line. Now I hope you got the idea. When you cut the wicks just to include more and more lines in your analysis, then it is called an internal trend line. But I must say that you don't force the lines if they are not there. There may not be any line, so just don't force the lines on your chart. Now I'll give you an example of forcing the line on chart also. Now you see that there was a trend line here. After certain practice, I will tell you that you can very easily draw your trend lines, and then you will be able to tell where the trend is going. It is not very difficult. But if there is no trend line, you don't start forcing them. Okay, don't start joining these highs, and then don't start joining these lows unnecessarily. No, or don't start using this high and this high unnecessarily. You have to be very cautious about drawing your lines, because in future when the price goes to that line, you have to make a trade based on that line. So your line should be exact, or if I will say it, if it is not exact, then you should have a line in such a manner that you have to take a trade in that vicinity of the line. Now I have drawn a vicinity to this line, same way I have drawn a vicinity to this line, so you have to take trades in this vicinity only. Okay, in this vicinity. These are also like the zones of support and resistances. They are not the support and resistances to be exact, but they are the zones. So these are the zones of resistances. This is the zone of support here. So that is how you have to read the trend lines. So that's all for today. I hope I have made myself very clear about the trend lines. In the next video we will see some channels and we'll discuss about the channels.